Welcome to the Corner of Knit and Tea, episode 412. My name is Laura. I'm also known as Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this episode and every episode show notes will be. And I have an Etsy shop where I sell my handspun yarns and knitting patterns. Hi, how are you? I hope that you are doing well. I'm also hoping we are back to normal. It is Monday, February 13th here in the United States. I am back to my normal recording position, and it is kind of an interesting week. I am more or less officially unemployed for the next couple weeks. So while I have a few responsibilities to take care of before I leave town, for the most part I am kind of on my own. I had a wonderfully relaxing weekend because I had nothing I had to do, which was absolutely amazing. I don't know that I've had one of those in a really, really long time. Today and tomorrow I am working on packing and getting things together and preparing a few things for while I am about to be gone. So the title of this episode is Vacation Knitting, because I'm going to tell you what I finished up this week, but then I'm also going to talk to you about what I'm going to work on while I'm on my vacation. Just to let you know, this podcast will be on hiatus for a couple weeks while I am gone, and I will come back to you on Monday, March 6th, or possibly Sunday, March 5th. Monday, March 6th, I am starting a new full-time job, so I might actually try and record on the Sunday before, and I may be moving the podcast back a day. Back when I worked full-time outside of the house, I did my podcast on Sundays, and then I moved it to Mondays when I started working from home. So the day and time may change just a little bit, but it would be a little bit earlier, not a little bit later, and we'll work that out when we get there. So I hope that you are doing well. I have lots of fun things to share with you today. It's all knitting, no spinning. I have been doing some spinning, but I am still finishing up that black merino. I did not get to start anything else before I leave. So spinning will be fun when I get home, but not yet. So let's dig in. Today I am drinking some Wegmans Sakura Sencha green tea. It is cherry blossom, that's what Sakura is, and then a Sencha green tea. I don't have the original packaging. This was just a taster sample from a friend, and she put the label on the top, so I know that, and I am drinking it today in a mug I found at the back of the cabinet. I was trying to see what had been hiding for a while, and this one is not terribly exciting. It is from my alma mater. I went to Washington University in St. Louis for my undergrad. Mumble years ago. Yeah, I graduated in 2000, so it's been a little while, but I do have this mug and it's still in my cupboard, and so today I am drinking my Sakura green tea from Wegmans out of this mug. And for those who aren't in the know, Wegmans is a grocery store. It is a chain on the east coast of the United States, so kind of up in the New England area. People swear by it. I have never actually been to one, but I am now drinking tea from some. And that's good. I added just a little bit of sweetener. It is, because it's a Sencha green, it is quite green. So if you do not like the taste of kind of, I think green teas taste a little bit grassy. And if that is not your thing, then you should definitely not try that. So let's talk about the knit that I finished this week, and I was thrilled to finish this. I finished it midweek, so it is washed and blocked and everything. This is the Bejazel shawl. This is by Dorothy Bullock Erickson, who is also known as Syzygy Designs, and this was a fun knit that it's written to be knit in 2 different weights of yarn. It can be knit in a DK and a fingering, which is how I knit it, or it can be knit in a fingering and lace weight. And to be honest, it was so much fun, I might actually knit it again, and I might do it on my own in a fingering and lace weight, but I was knitting it as a sample for Zen Yarn Garden, and I knit it in 2 of their yarns. I used as my main color a skein of Zen Yarn Garden Superfine DK, which is 100% superwash merino, 250 yards to the skein, and as you can tell, it is natural colored. It's the color is au naturel, but it is undyed. And then I contrasted it with one of their mini skeins that was dyed as a pooling colorway. These are called Jump in the Pool, and this is the colorway Shore, and it has lots and lots of different kinds of blues. It's got some royal blue, it's got some turquoise blue, it's got a little bit of red and a little bit of black speckles, and these skeins are designed to pool a little bit, so they have sections that are well, I'll show you, I'll take it apart. they are designed so that there are sections that are in the light color and sections that are in the darker colors, and you can choose to knit them however you wish. So in this skein, probably 2/3 of the skein is teal, or maybe half of the skein is teal. You've got a small border section, and then you've got half of the skein that is like other colors and speckles in there, and so that's going to create some different sections. You may have noticed that pooling knits were kind of hot last year, and so they developed these skeins to go with those. There are several patterns that were written specifically for these, or there are several patterns on Ravelry and other places that are written for pooling yarns. So if that is something you'd like to get into, these are the Jump in the Pool skeins. And again, all of these are from Zen Yarn Garden, and I knit samples for them. So this is their super fine DK in Au Naturel, and this is the Zen Yarn Garden logo. And then the other is a gradient trio. It was one of 3 skeins, and like I said, they're 200 yards a piece. They're not exactly mini skeins, they're like half skeins, and that was in Shore. So sum total, I used 1 skein of DK, so 250 yards, and 2 skeins of the smaller skeins, so that's 400 yards of fingering weight, and I ended up with a really good size shawl. So this shawl starts in a corner up here, and then it works into a really cool kind of alternating garter, stockinette, mesh, and you're working the 2 colors together in bits and pieces and alternating them. There are some short rows, and some these mesh holes are basically created like buttonholes where you bind off and cast back on. There's a little bit of short rowing, but this is not complicated, and it worked up really quickly, and it blocked out kind of enormous. So technically it's kind of an asymmetrical triangle shawl, but on the other hand, if you're going to kind of wrap it around you, then it also sort of ends up as a crescent. It does have a little bit of a tip in there, but like it does have a, so here's how wide it is, sort of, and that's or that's how like long it is, the section before I actually bound off, and then it's got this edge. So technically it's kind of a triangle, but the way it blocks out with the way it's formed is basically a little bit like a crescent shawl. So like I would generally wear it a little bit like this, or you could do other things, but I just really like it. It's kind of a fun, it was, like I said, it was really quick to knit. It just took me a couple weeks, and once you get the pattern memorized, it's like the same 4 rows over and over and over again. Same 4 rows, same 6 rows over and over and over again. So it's really just easy. It's lightweight, it's stylish. You could do it in a lot of different contrasting colors. Kits will be available from Zen Yarn Garden, or you could purchase the yarn now. The pattern is available on Ravelry. So I'm really glad to have that finished before I left and blocked, and it's just lovely. And now it's just gonna, it's actually not gonna go to the photographers before I left. I thought it was, which is why I was trying to get it done so fast. But I have another shawl that I'm gonna do, and then we'll send both of those to the photographers. So I will talk more about that shawl when I get back, because I have not cast it on yet. I thought I might this week, but I have been working really hard on finishing up a few other things. I have a chicken that is due the week after I get back, and so I've been working really hard on that and working almost exclusively on that. And then I have put in a few other rows on my Zen Zip Tee, which was knit along from earlier this year, but not enough to really bring it and show you. So now the rest of the podcast actually is devoted to the few things that I'm taking with me, and I wanted to share them with you because they're kind of fun, and let you know what I'm going to be working on. So the first thing that I'm going to be working on, the main project, and I'm pulling up my phone because I just want to show you the photo, is I'm going to be working on a sweater. Generally, I try and travel pretty light on these trips, but I just realized that there wasn't a ton of things that I was really interested in knitting. And one of the things that I was interested in knitting that was at the top of my queue was a sweater in about 700 yards of DK weight. It's knitted a slightly loose gauge, and then it's also a cropped sweater. So the sweater that I am interested in knitting is called the Party Top, and it is by Abby, I think it's by Abby Knits. Yep, it's by Abby Knits, and this is what it looks like. So it's just a really simple top-down raglan cropped sweater with half to 3/4 length sleeves, and I think it's really cute, and I have been wanting to make it for a while, and I have yarn to make it in. So, sorry for the rustling. I'll get my stains out so I don't have to do that anymore. Recently I went to my friend Treasure Goddess Christine's. My friend Christine's. She owns Treasure Goddess Yarns, and she actually just lives down the street from me. Literally like within 5 minutes from me. And she is absolutely lovely, and she dyes amazing semi-solid yarns. That's kind of her primary focus at this point. And several months ago, I picked up these gorgeous skeins of her DK Treasures yarn, which is 100% superwash merino, 250 meters, 274 yards in Song of the Sirens. And I have actually knit in this colorway a couple times before. I knit a sweater for Roxy in this colorway once, but this is totally, it's a cross between kind of a plummy purple and a burgundy red, and that is like absolutely in my wheelhouse. And I have 3 skeins of this, so sum total I have, well, it's a little bit more than 750 yards. I guess I have 825 yards, which is more than I need for my size. The sweater is meant to be knit with negative ease. I don't know if I'm going to knit it with negative ease or like 0 ease, because generally I don't necessarily love sweaters that have negative ease. So I might just knit it with 0 ease and just plan for it to be kind of body slimming in that. But it is just a real fun, like I said, top down raglan sleeve. I don't even think there are any real like lacy details. It is just a simple knit, and we're going to be on a plane for a lot of hours. We're going to be in a bus touring around the country, and taking with me a simple knit that does not require a lot of thought or a lot of counting will be kind of the perfect thing. So even though it's a little bit more yarn than I would want to take with me because it's 3 skeins, I just decided that I was going to go ahead and do it because I would love to have this sweater when we get back. I think it will still be okay to wear because when we get back, it's going to be right around March 1st, which means it's still going to be a little cool, and going into the early spring, I think a 3/4 sleeve or like 2/3 elbow length sleeves cropped sweater will be like a cute thing to wear when the temperatures are still a little cool. So I'm really excited about this. I've actually wound one of the balls, and I need to wind the other ones, and then I'm going to alternate through as I would with any indie dyed yarn. And I just need to, I've already downloaded the pattern, I just need to grab the needles that I want. I think it was meant to be knit in 4s and 6s. I will have to double check. So I guess that wouldn't be super loose gauge, but it's not like a full sweater, hence I can get away with a little bit less yardage. So I am super excited for that. Like I said, this has been on my knit list forever. I've actually probably had the yarn close to a year at this point, and I am just really excited to, I've never knit a sweater for myself in Christine's yarn, which is a shame because she's in my knit group, she's local to me, and she dyes beautiful things. I have knit lots of hats and lots of other things in her yarn, but I'm excited to have a sweater. So that is my main knit that I'm taking with me. I also have 2 other things that I am taking with me. Again, Christine's yarn. I talked about this, I've talked about this for the last couple episodes. I have embarked on a sock knitting adventure this year where I want to knit some rainbow socks and send them to Knit the Rainbow. Knit the Rainbow is a 501c3 dedicated to providing warm weather gear and resources to LGBTQIA individuals who are facing houselessness. And so one of the things that I heard Austin Rivers, the founder, say in one of his speaking engagements was that while everybody knits hats and scarves, a lot of times one of the most requested things in shelter situations is socks. And I thought, wow, I can knit socks, and I can knit socks fairly quickly, so I should really do that. So I decided I'm going to knit rainbow socks this year and send, 6 to 8 pairs of, I haven't decided if I'm going to do Roy G. Biv or if I'm going to throw in some pink or something else in there. And I finished my red socks in January, or like right into February. I finished them last week. And so now it's time to do the orange socks. I am using the same yarn as I used for the red socks. Obviously, it's orange. As I said, it's Treasure Goddess Yarns. It's her Pirate Sheep DK, which is 100% Highland wool. It is not superwash, but it will, and so it would felt, but I chose to go with this anyway because it's DK, so it's going to knit up some super soft and cozy and squishy socks. And I can only imagine that if you are facing houselessness, particularly in New York, where Knit the Rainbow is headquartered, and it also has drop locations. It's starting to expand into Chicago and I believe Minneapolis, but all of those places get very, very cold in the winter, and so even fingering weight socks are great, but I just wanted to knit something that would knit up fast and would be super cozy and would fit as sort of boot socks in any kind of shoes. And even if they felt a little bit, they will stand up to a good hard winter's wear. So it's 225 meters, 246 yards. This yarn can felt, so you have to wash it gently, and it is in the colorway Lusty Wench. So that is, and the nice thing about this yarn is it's got the marled look because it has some black in there, and then it's just kind of a bunch of different shades of orange. So I need to wind this up and divide it into two 50-gram cakes, and then I'm going to knit probably David Schultz's Toe Up Sock Cookbook socks. That's the recipe that I used for the previous pair, and basically it means that I will be able to use up every last inch of the sock yarn. So that is one of the things I am bringing with me. And the final thing I'm bringing with me, I think 3 projects is going to be enough, and worst case, New Zealand is known for its sheep and its wool, so I am hoping that there will be some yarn tourism in there. But my third project that I'm bringing with me, and I'm going to take them out of this case, but I wanted to show you, is I picked up some of a brand new sock base from Freya. Freya yarns, or Freya Fine Hand Paints, they are known for their gradient yarns. She dyes gradients in beautiful colors. She actually was a client of mine when I was at the agency, which I realize I say that like it was far in the past. It was just last week. And she recently started dyeing on a superwash merino base that is absolutely to die for. It is a Shiniko base, which is US sourced wool, superwash merino, that is raised sustainably in the United States. And it's like from sheep to skein, it is all done in the United States. And she is calling her new sock yarn Soulmates, and they are 2 identical cakes of yarn. They have been dyed through a patented process that she wouldn't even tell me about when I was her marketing person, and they are designed to be completely identical and will produce socks that look like this. So this is the chameleon colorway, which I thought was oddly appropriate for, I don't know that chameleons are big in New Zealand. I mean, it's not really a jungle, but I don't know. It just seemed like an appropriate colorway. And so it starts at kind of a limey yellow green and then goes up through like a emerald green / turquoise. And I really love that. And I'm going to take it out of this box. I'm just going to put it in a bag. But these are going to be for me. And I am going to be working on a new sock pattern from Laura Nelkin. So let me pull that. She just designed it. It's for gradient socks, and it is not, it was not designed for Freya, but it was designed for, let me see, sorry, let's see. My screen is very small here because it's on my phone and I'm not using the mobile version, so I just need to navigate through. But thanks, autocorrect. Do that, and let me see what I get. It is like one of her most recent patterns, so let me just navigate. I'm almost there. I'm sorry, I should have done this before. They're called the Lazo socks. And because the gradient is so amazing and it's going to do all of the work, I did not want to get a sock pattern that had a ton of patterning to it. I was hoping for something a little bit simple that might just be a little bit more fun to knit. And so this looks like, these are called the Lazo socks. And as you can see, it looks like there are just some, it looks like it's sort of a 1-stitch cable, an elongated stitch, so the stitches are probably skipped for a few rounds, and then, and I'm saying this, I have no idea. I've downloaded the pattern, I haven't read it at all. And it looks like those stitches are probably slipped on several rounds, and then several rounds later you just cable with them, and so it creates just a little bit of a design. And I don't think the design really takes away from the sock itself. It looks like the top of the foot is just flat, and then you've just got the leg patterning around the leg on the way up. So my plan is to make these socks. I don't know whether they're top down or toe up. I actually think I might start toe up, even if that's not the way that they're written, and just adapt, because I would like to use up every last inch of these babies. I really don't want anything left, and that's probably going to make knee socks for me, because I should say each of these are 228 yards per ball, and honestly, I use 228 yards to make socks for myself out of a regular cake. So like out of a regular 400 yard skein. So I'm gonna have, these are gonna be enormous, but I think they will keep me occupied throughout my trip, and I'm very, very excited. I hope maybe I'll have at least one of them done by the time I get home, even if I don't have them both done. So 2 pairs of socks and a sweater. I don't expect that I'll have all them done. To compare, when we went to Norway, I took a 1 skein lightweight tee, which I almost finished on our trip, and I took 2 pairs of socks, and I think I finished 1 of the pairs of socks. So that was sort of how I gathered my things. We are going to have quite a bit longer flights, because the flight to New Zealand is quite hefty, and we have lots of layovers. And so I realized that, like, I'm going to have a lot of travel time, and so I thought I would take some pretty simple things with me. So those are going to be my vacation knits. I will be back in 2 weeks. Well, I guess 3 weeks from today. 13 and 7 is 20, and 7, yeah, it'll be 3 weeks. I'll be off, so I will see you 3 weeks from today, which is either Sunday, March 5th or Monday, March 6th. And we'll get back into podcasting, and I'm sure I will have at least 1 new cast on at that time, because I will have a new shawl that I'm working on as a sample. I will probably have a new chicken. I will definitely be starting a new spin, so I will have lots of things to share with you. So I hope for the next few weeks that you take care, that you stay healthy and happy, that you enjoy creating, and that maybe your weather starts to get a little bit progressively springy. It has been kind of in the 40s and 50s for the last couple days, which is really, really nice here. It's still getting pretty cold at night, but it's been absolutely lovely. And the weather that we're heading to, New Zealand is just finishing its summer, so we have been told that our temperatures are likely between 55 and 75. That's Fahrenheit in the United States. And so it should be absolutely lovely there. So I hope that you have a great couple of weeks ahead. For those of you who want to keep up with me on my travels, I will likely be posting to Facebook and to Instagram, so you can follow me either of those places. If you need anything, you're welcome to drop me a line. I will have service while I'm gone, but I don't know how quickly I'll be responding. And I hope you have a wonderful few weeks. I can't wait to come back and tell you all about my travels. So I'll say, as I do each week, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you in a few weeks. Bye!